Don't make this into
So
Arrow and Flash dichotomy,
yeah.
please.
So the last bit of rumor and news I have was fresh off the YouTubes today is that RDJ is in talks to sign for a Stark reprisal somehow.
What?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how or why or where, but
Fake news.
uh, yeah, I hope. I don't know. I really like. I don't want another Iron Man movie with him, right? Unless they're gonna do. I don't know how that would work. Like it'd have to be in between the 5 years,
Is it
maybe.
live action or maybe an animated something on Disney? Live action? Did it say?
Yeah, no, it didn't even say, but I'm assuming it's for an MCU movie. So I guess we'll
Mm,
see, right? But then again, if did they finish filming Strange 2? No, right? So you never know. He could show up in another
no, they didn't show.
multiverse, right? Yeah,
They haven't even started filming Strange 2.
right. So he could show up in the multiverse kind of thing, right?
WandaVision maybe, because that one's
Oh,
actually in
WandaVision,
production.
yeah,
That was in
right.
production before the
Who knows?
pandemic.
I will keep an eye out for this. I'll keep following and see if there's anything comes up.
Cool, cool
Oh,
beans.
all right. Thank you
Yeah,
very much, Mike.
no problem.
So at this point, we're going to move over to The Hunt, the movie. So
Also known as "What in the hell did I just watch?"
Our
that's right.
president's favorite movie.
Yeah.
All
See,
right.
I was right.
All right. So The Hunt. Wow, that was only an hour and a half long. Jeez. So it's a action horror thriller. Came out. Really came out in March this year. Ooh, that's not right.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
It came
yeah,
out,
it just
and
released.
then
Remember?
like
Just
a
released.
week or two after it came out in the theaters, it was dumped on streaming platforms.
Oh, that's right. Because
Mm-hmm.
everything corroded. Ooh. Um, starring Betty Gilpin and Hilary Swank, and a lot of other people. I'm not going through the entire list because boy, this was a large cast. Um, so 12 strangers wake up in a clearing. They don't know where they are or how they got there. They don't know why they've been chosen for the specific purpose of the hunt, but they are being hunted, and that's really it. It's like that Van Damme movie from the '90s.
Hot Target. Love
Hard
that movie.
target.
Yeah, great movie.
So I'm gonna.
I come back here. I cut me a steak.
The steak. We used to use that in high school all the time.
I,
Sean used to love to quote that movie.
I'm
That's a
going
blast
to
from the
announce
past.
a spoiler
Mhm.
here. Oh, sorry, Keith, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Oh, Hard Target, Blast from the Past, he said.
Oh, bless from the. I'm gonna call out the spoiler horn here.
I don't know, sir.
Of course you don't know. You don't know because only I know. If
Don't care how I want it
All right,
Well, Mr. Gill
because
hasn't seen this movie, so I don't know if he really cares or.
Nah, go ahead.
now.
so we are going to start and talk about how we felt about this movie. Our
Alright.
general reactions, as we always do, because I think
Nice.
that's the best part.
Nice.
All right. So, James, why don't you start it off? What
Sure.
was your first reaction to this?
My first
Wonderful.
reaction to this movie, I was like, okay, this is a big F you to certain political affiliations. That was very obvious in its messaging from beginning to end. The action was something out of a Tarantino movie on top of that. So there was
Not
layers
even
and
a good one,
layers.
though.
Yeah,
Wasn't even a good Tarantino movie, man.
some of his earliest stuff was like this. Let's be honest. Tarantino wasn't always a masterpiece. He wasn't a, Chris Nolan action guy. But Blood
Mhm.
and Guts, yeah, and like surprise, like any minute you're on screen, you're thinking someone's head was gonna explode. So
Yeah, speaking of
considering,
exploding heads.
holy cow, the first act when you saw all the high listed actors and actresses show up as part of that 12, and then they each get singled out real quick in the beginning, like, oh man, I thought this guy had a longer part in this movie, or this gal, and no, it's big fake, big fake to the audience, which was nicely done in my opinion. So again, my general feeling was that this was an interesting movie. I like the fact that honestly, I didn't know that it was really geared towards political takes on liberal elites versus unintellectual conservatives. Uh, to me, I just went in just knowing that it was about people getting killed and like in gruesome ways, and I didn't really expect the political messaging to be peppered throughout. I didn't expect the main antagonist to be who that person was. So I thought I really enjoyed the movie, and I gave it a solid B minus C plus.
Nice, nice, nice.
Cool.
Uh, Mike, what was your first reaction to The Hunt?
So I knew this was going to be like a whole. Like I saw the trailer and I read the taglines and whatever, and saw the
Mm.
press about it. So I knew this was going to be silly. But man, that was just a ridiculous movie. Like so, and you know what's it's surprising because the cast they actually have a decent cast in this movie.
Yeah, more than
You
decent in
know,
some cases.
yeah,
In the beginning, anyway.
uh, yeah, and for the cast and I don't know, it's just
Hey,
it's.
famous actors do bad movies. It's all right.
Oh,
Or,
I know.
yeah,
Hang on, I just want to. Who's in
They
this
still
movie?
get famous checks.
right.
Yeah, they got paid. I know. Hilary Swank,
Well,
Ethan Suplee from My Name Is Earl, Emma
Mhm.
Roberts. Who else?
The
Amy
actor from This
Madigan
Is
was in this.
Us.
Yeah, whole bunch of people in this movie. So I didn't expect much, and I wasn't disappointed. So it
What's
was.
your?
It was.
Go ahead.
Huh?
No, go
No,
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say it was just silly. Like, if you like these kinds of movies, then this is for you, right? So, and the thing is, I enjoy these, but even like Tarantino's scripts are what make them so much better, right? Like his dialogue and his plot. So, and this was lacking both for me anyway. So,
No, well, I'll let you finish before I disagree. Go ahead.
no, I'm done. I mean, my only surprise is that it's written by Damon Lindelof, who did the Watchmen series.
Yes, and Carlton Cuse's brother, brother
Right,
Cuse. Yeah,
Nick Cuse.
Nick Cuse.
Yeah,
Well, I guess for me, it looked like you could have written this without any of the politics in it.
yeah,
And then they decided, hey, there really isn't. This is a pretty straightforward, simple movie. We can make it more horror. We can make it more actiony. But what if we just made it more political, and not even like in a way that people understand that makes sense? Let's just make it stupid political.
yeah,
And you know, and they did. And I think that's really where the uproar about this movie came from.
Yep.
If you look at the poster for the movie, it's all quotes about how political and indecent it is.
Yep.
yeah. That's just a drive.
And the
Yeah,
reason why I wanted to wait to Mike finishes because to me it's a mirror of our current social media, how polarized we are, left or right, and some of the script that Mike was kind of poo pooing on is almost like exact tweets and messages from message boards that are on the internet right now, whether it's far right or far left. Some of that
yeah.
dialogue to
I'm not
me,
disagreeing with you.
'cause I
That still
watched it with
doesn't
my
make it
wife,
good.
and we were like, "Oh my god, who wrote this? Freaking Neocon X510 or
right. I'm not disagreeing with you, but that still doesn't make it a good script, right?
no, no, I'm not, I'm
Because
not.
so
Hey, I'm not saying this was a greatly written movie. I'm
yeah,
just saying that the mirror of what for me, watching this movie, I didn't even know that the political content of this movie, the connection until I was watching it.
yeah,
But to me, just hearing some of the conversations we're having, I'm like, man, somebody's regurgitating something that they've gotten from like Reddit formats, and they're throwing it on the screen with some really, really terrible consequences of what they're saying. So that's why,
yeah,
like, to me, I kind of enjoyed it because I see this on a daily basis. We talk about politics all the time, and we see people's different inclinations here and
right.
there, but I don't think people are ready to see like the far the opposites on screen like this.
Yeah,
And
Well,
I didn't hate the movie, right? But this is like a one and done for me. Like, okay, I watched it. I don't think I'll ever watch it
Oh
again.
yeah, it wasn't.
No,
and,
no,
and
no,
I
definitely.
and I can I think I understand what Hughes and Lindelof were trying to accomplish with the message of, you can see how both sides can be ridiculous, right? And
Yeah,
extreme.
they
So,
took and made kind of physical form these sort
hmm
of quote unquote wars and
yeah,
setting traps
exactly.
and those kind of things.
One little Easter egg that I don't know if you guys picked up
Mm.
on. I think you did, but the ending with what's her name when they realized it was the wrong Christine, or what was her name, Caroline,
Crystal?
Christine,
Crystal,
Well,
Crystal,
she
Crystal.
claims it was. Yeah.
No,
she is the wrong
she's the
Crystal.
wrong
Okay.
Crystal. It goes
Yeah.
back to how we are on social media when we think we know somebody, we're attacking them, we're trolling them, and they're like, "I'm not
Yeah.
that person." Like where are you getting this information from? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no one really talks about this kind of stuff, and it was nice that they put that in a movie. Like you had her totally mischaracterized because of who you thought you were, as smart and intelligent as you were. You still had it wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
so there's a couple of twists in this movie, and so let's start kind of at the beginning, and we'll kind of work our way through. Not every, most of it's just shooting action scenes, but there's a couple of things that are really interesting parts of the movie that stick out to me.
Hmm.
So the movie actually opens up in a chat, looks like a private chat between people, and someone says something about they can't wait for the hunt, and it's and they specifically use the word deplorables. It's good to hunt deplorables or something to that effect. And so it starts out and it gives you, there's no quarter. It's using fiery language, and you kind of know what you're getting into, right? Right. So there's it goes from the chat room to an airplane, and you see these rich, obviously liberals by the way they're having them talk. It's what makes them liberal. That's what makes all of these people whatever they are, is literally just the words they use, right?
Yeah.
Then this large guy comes out, and he's obviously drugged, and he's trying to find out where he is. He doesn't know where he is, and the old guy, one of the old rich guys, says, "Oh, lie down, I'll help you out," and then stabs him in the eye with a pen. And we start our violence off with a big gushing eye wound, um, and followed by a woman who walks in and then stabs him in the neck with a high heel,
No,
and
the high
more.
heel was in the eye and the pen was in the neck.
Oh, okay, sorry, I
Yeah,
had
he's
those
right.
backwards.
Yeah.
He's right.
And somehow this man survives. They stick him into a room, even though he's bleeding profusely. So a little crazy with the gore.
I mean, you say he survives. He dies on a plane. He doesn't
Oh,
Yeah,
live.
he's
he
dead.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought because he was in the room and he woke
Yeah.
up and he said, "Help me."
Yeah, and he looked over and he saw what's her name passed out, and that's the last you see of that character. You don't see him when they're waking up,
Okay. Okay, so I thought he woke up. I guess I got those confused.
because that would have been okay. Yeah.
Anyway, well, this is the most interesting part of the movie in the beginning, is now you move over to this girl who you just saw was passed out when the guy died. Okay, so and that what's
Who
her
you
name?
think was gonna be the one of the
Yeah, Emma
protagonists?
Roberts.
Yeah.
Right. She's a known actress. You've seen her before.
Hmm.
She wakes up in the clearing, and she runs into a whole bunch of people, and they've all got these gags on that they can't get off. And uh, in the clearing, they find a large wooden crate. Someone opens the crate. They're able to unlock the gags, and they have guns, and they start getting shot at. And you're like, "Oh my gosh!" And so she takes her gun. They start to run away, and her head explodes. Pop.
First
And
shocking
now,
moment. I was like, oh,
right.
okay.
And you're like, "Oh, I thought she was the main character."
So did I.
And then you move to another known face, um, and he's got a gun, and he goes to help a girl who's fallen into a pit, and you're like, "Oh, so he's the main character." And no, he gets killed. And then you move to someone else, and you follow him, and no, he gets killed. And it was a crazy like jumping around for the first 15 minutes until you actually find our main character here, which is Hillary, not Betty Gilpin.
Which is funny. They actually show you on screen earlier, like when what's her name, the first female protagonist, when she finds a key, she sees our main heroine in the distance, and she walks over to her and unlocks her first, and then asks her to unlock her back. So you see her on camera first, but you don't think of it, and you're like, okay. Then they move, they focus back on her. I didn't realize that, by the way, she's also an actress in Glow. My wife watches that show. She's
Yeah.
one of the female wrestlers in the show Glow.
Yes.
But yeah, they introduce you to her. You just don't pay attention because they focus back on Emma Roberts.
Right. So at this point, you're following like three people. They quote unquote make it out. They hop a fence. They make it to a gas station with a little old couple, and they kind of take over the gas station, try to call the cops, and it turns out the old couple's part of it, and they kill those three people. And you're like, whoa, what's going on here? Is anybody actually going to survive? What's going on? And kind of throughout the thing, so far, you're getting very, it seems, anti-liberal. All the liberals are talking and they're asses and they're asinine and they're killing people for, quote unquote, disagreeing with them, or they're using things you hear online, very generic statements. They said, one of the guys says something about black people, and then his wife goes, whoa, 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 what about slavery? And you're like, what? and I was like, okay, all right, they're really, really going campy on this language here.
Yeah, you got to be PC, as she's trying to say. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you get that more whenever there's an interaction between two of those people.
Right.
Someone brings up, oh, you're misgendering, or you're
stereotyping.
You're stereotyping. That's your privilege. They use
people, we're the worst.
Right, exactly. They use all of the key words whenever they're talking to each other. Now, it isn't until you start following our main protagonist here, Crystal, that she actually knows what she's doing, and she kills the old couple. She kicks their ass. She blows them away, and she runs into another conservative guy. We're just going to call him that. And they head out each other trying to get away. And this is where we start seeing the conservative guys, this conservative side, kind of show their worst ends, right? So they hop a train thinking they're going to get away.
Skip the fact that we start seeing our protagonist actually someone that's well trained. Like,
all right, sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, so like when she's looking at the booby trap of the car, you could tell that she has some sort of training. She's not just a regular person left here to figure out for themselves.
Yeah, she grabs some equipment that she could use. She knows not to eat the stuff in the store because shit killed somebody. She knows how to use the gun. Well, all of these guys.
Arkansas.
Right, yeah. And so when they hop the train, they run into some refugees, right? And this is where you kind of start seeing the negative on the other side. Is the guy she's with starts going off on the refugees and how they're ruining the country, and right, and
fake.
he's
they're crisis actors.
They're crisis actors, which actually one of them turns out to be actually.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So it starts to even out a bit as they move along the different conservative characters, but it isn't until the end. I mean, is there a part in this middle section you guys want to talk about that? Because right now there's a lot of these sections that are just, hey, this person shoots this person finds out how to die.
Yeah, I mean, it was very Hunger Games, like in the middle, right? So
yeah, it was like trap this, trap that, get around it, shoot that.
Yeah, so it wasn't really, for me, it was like, so plot-wise, it was the beginning and the ends were the meat of the movie, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
I
the
mean,
rest seems just to be action filler.
I think no, I think it's something that you guys are oversimplifying, and that's her little monologue that she has with about the jackrabbit and a turtle. It's a very
Mm-hmm.
old story we've heard so many times before,
Mm-hmm.
but the twist that she gave on you is that ultimately, through sheer strength and violence, the jackrabbit wins, and it's almost like allegory to our, and I don't want to get too political,
Right.
our country's history. Despite whatever decency and movements we make towards, being progressive and liberal in this country, you're always going to have a certain establishment in power, no matter what party it is, to be honest with you, right or left, that's going
Right.
to come out ahead and always going to win. It's just how it is. The turtle, through faith and belief in himself and smart and wiliness, and was able to win that race. But ultimately, he lost the war because of power and who's in power. And
Yeah,
I
because the
thought
jackrabbit came in with a hammer. That was kind of funny.
exactly. So you can flip that so many different ways in this country's history. And I thought that was a very interesting monologue that she had, that yeah, you some people probably didn't really get it. I got it. In my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's what Damon Lindelof and Cuse was trying to say, considering that Damon also gave us The Watchmen. So it's like whoever is in
Right.
power is going to win at the end of the day. They may have short losses here and there, but you're not toppling them, not in their own game. So I thought that part of the middle part of the movie was very, very interesting, very well done, because she kept like extending the conversation. She was deliberate in how slow in her speech pattern and measured. So you felt like there's nothing else happening here. Where's the story going? Almost like Quentin Tarantino did with what's his name? And the movie with Inglorious Bastards and the German soldier,
Oh, in the
Christopher
beginning,
Waltz.
yeah.
Yes. Like it's like a deliberate speech or monologue you're giving to the audience and to another character. That's just like so heavy. Like, where is this? Like, what's the point of this? Is this tied to something? But you have to listen and watch because nothing else is happening on screen. And then
Mm-hmm.
when
Right.
the story
That's a
ends,
good
you're
call.
like, well, okay. A guy goes, so which one are we? What, a jackrabbit or a
Right.
turtle? And she doesn't answer it. So,
No,
Yeah.
that's a good call. It's a good relationship to the Inglorious Bastard
so
speech.
that's something that I caught in the middle act of the movie. But you're right. For the most part, it's really in the beginning and the end, especially when Hilary Swank is revealed and everything
So
from that
yeah,
moment on. Yeah, go ahead.
so about 2/3 of the way through the movie, you get the quote unquote twist, which is you go do a flashback and you find out this rich family, led by Hilary Swank, had been texting, and these texts were found and released online, and
Hillary's
they
emails.
right. So they're saying that it was a joke, but it doesn't matter
Yeah.
because now it's out in the public, and so all of their companies and all of their livelihood is basically taken away because they're uh, outed for what people now quote unquote believe is actually happening. And so all of these guys are just like unceremoniously removed from their power positions due to a lie or a joke. Whether or not it's an actual lie or joke is left up to the imagination till later. Because right now you're watching people in the hunt, and so they're saying, no, the hunt isn't real. I don't own that
Yeah.
property, so I don't know what you're talking about. But you're like, no, it's real, so she's lying. So it's actually a pretty interesting section there. At first I was like, oh, what am I gonna get out of flashbacks here? But I thought that was interesting because you're watching it happen, and
Yeah,
yet
but
they're
my
saying,
see. Mhm.
"All
No,
right,
go
go
ahead.
ahead."
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say my take was that the hunt wasn't real until what's her name decided to put one together.
See, and this is kind of where being a movie watcher, you're like, well, these things happen. Rich people do this shit. I assumed it was all real all the time. It wasn't. I never assumed it was a joke. I thought it
Uh,
was. I was taking it at face value, which I guess each person's view of how they take it is kind of part of the message. You can take it that way. But so then you get that they see all of the people, because a lot of the questions during the hunt scenes are, why are they doing this to us? Why did they pick us? And this basically explains that all of these people had comments or podcasts or whatever that called these people out for this hunt, that they were actually doing it, and they blamed them for ruining their lives, basically. And so the rich people decide to take revenge and set up the hunt and make it happen, whether or not it was happening the whole time or not. I think at this point, did they answer that, or were you still wondering
But did it answer what? I'm not sure.
whether or not this was the first hunt or was a
I
continuation
think
of
it was the
something they've
first
done?
hunt because they had said it
That's
was
what I think too.
8 months before, and then they go through the catalog of all the different actors we've seen in the beginning that were killed,
Mhm.
including our main heroine, and then at the end he goes, "That's our Snowball." So I think this was
Ah,
the first hunt. Like it took them eight
okay.
months of preparation. Even that military consultant guy who said it, yeah, she's been preparing for a while, 8 months for this
Right.
moment. So this was the first hunt that they put together, and everyone that we've seen in the beginning, including our main heroine, were the first of first casualty team.
Okay. So after this, we kind of get back into the hunt section, where this is the a good action set piece, interesting piece where um, two there's only two left, our main heroine and another guy, and they have to infiltrate the bunker that houses the bulk of the threat. And so she just goes in and kicks all ass. That's really she's
Again,
definitely trained.
this you definitely, yeah, exactly. You just said it. You definitely know at this point that she's trained. She's not just a regular person who knows how to use firearms. Like the fact that she infiltrated that group plus with their military at the time, the military counselor advisor,
Hmm.
she's very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Right. And she even and at that point they ask her what she's done, and she said she was in Afghanistan. So um, that's how you kind of get her enough of a background on her that you're like, oh, okay. So she's not just some chick online. She's
Which is weird because at this point I'm trying to connect her character we've seen so far to what sort of liberal slash progressive caricature are they making of her, and I couldn't put it together.
she's not. She's actually the least caricature of everybody,
Well, we don't
because
know that at the moment. At the
no,
moment,
but
we don't
but
have that
you
idea.
the military tends to lean conservative.
Correct.
So you just see her as a veteran. That's really her spot. Because right now you've seen hunters. You've seen a guy with a right wing podcast. You've seen a survivalist. You see the guy who
You're
just
right. I'm
likes
sorry.
the
Yeah,
Second
I meant
Amendment.
the other way. Like I didn't see her as being ultra right wing in any aspect other than her accent,
Right,
No.
trying to tell her, okay, so she's
right.
definitely from the mid southwest, or
Yeah,
southeast.
she's just from Mississippi, I think she says.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's all she is. She's just from Mississippi, and she's a veteran. You don't know. She doesn't espouse at any time any right wing or left wing view.
correct.
No, and the thing is, the scene on the train, I could almost feel her being empathetic towards refugees when the guy was spouting off.
Yeah, because he was
About
threatened to shoot them,
With the
and
Yeah.
she
baby.
was
Yeah, there was a lady
right,
next to him that had a baby in her hand, in her
yeah,
arm.
all right, and she goes, "There's a kid," and he's like, "I don't care," and I think
hmm
it looked like she was prepared to defend the
Yes.
Yeah.
refugees,
Good point. Good
Right.
point. Yeah.
but yeah, she was calm the whole situation though. At no point did she say something negative about any single person that I can recall.
That's true. So she takes out the most of the entire bunker and just leaves her and her partner, and then the radio goes off, right?
Yeah, this is a pretty cool scene
Yeah.
because over the radio, the person starts to talk to the what you thought was another survivor, and asking him if he's taken her out, and whether it's pretending that he is one of the hunters, or basically getting in her brain so she doesn't know whether he's friend or foe.
Mm-hmm. Create
But they
self-doubt.
never reveal that either, do they?
Exactly. They don't, because unless you can
So,
go back and look at that wall, which that means we have to watch the movie again. I don't remember seeing his character on that wall.
No.
Right.
So
Or
it's
in the
either
room. I
he
don't
was
think.
in on it, or again he was another victim.
But he wasn't in the room with them when they were going through the.
But they mentioned
Target
somebody
through
was on someone was in rehab. They asked were so and so. The entire everyone in that room wasn't
Well,
part of the.
Well, they were asking for Don over the radio, but they never say if it's him or.
Yeah, they said someone is in rehab still, or just getting out of rehab. But I don't think it was Don. So again, you have to unless we go back and watch the movie. I think that still left it open for you to figure out for yourself whether it was a lie or truth. Which again,
and
I'm giving this movie a little bit more credit than you guys want to give it, because I think, yeah, it wasn't a great masterpiece, but I like some of the liberties they took to keep you engaged and enthralled and give you something different than a regular movie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they have a couple of little nicks in your brain, and they're just like, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?" And yeah, it's a good piece. It kept you more interested than otherwise it could have.
True.
It could have really gone downhill. And so she shoots him. she just
They don't even show you. They just like fade to like the external shot, and you hear the gunshot go off.
Yeah, she's not taking any chances.
And then they go back in, and then the radio goes off.
I don't blame her though.
And then she hears the actual military guy was still breathing. He's still alive.
Oh yeah, she sits and talks with him, and you find out he was in the National Guard, and he's the one who asked her, and she says she was in Afghanistan.
Yeah, she was trained. She goes, you've never been in any shit. He goes, I'm in some shit now. That was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. So this is where she finds out where the main house is, and she goes to confront the last
Let's
lady.
pause here for a second, Chris. Again, I mentioned Tarantino. This reminds me huge shades of Kill Bill Volume 2, when Beatrix Kiddo is driving up to the manor in Mexico to meet Bill finally, and then and then they have the whole dialogue before their final fight. To me, I'm pretty sure Damon probably was trying to mimic that, an homage to Tarantino somewhat, and probably not done as good or anywhere close to what Tarantino did, but I thought it was a decent homage to Tarantino, if that's what he was trying to do. I believe that's what he was trying to do.
I don't think they were. What I liked about it is they weren't afraid to let the characters just talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Breathe.
And
talk.
And yeah, let the scenes go a little bit. Don't rush it.
But I think we needed that exposition though, because finally we're getting to why the hell is this all happening, and why them and this and that, right?
That's no different than when Beatrix wanted to know why Bill did what he did, and we wanted to know what was Bill's overarching reason why he went on this massacre against her, and all that stuff afterwards. Same thing with this movie.
All right.
Yeah.
So now we get what I think is a great final fight, better than anything I saw in Charlie's Angels.
Oh my God! So we should talk about that movie next week.
Yeah, we should. So Crystal goes up to the house, and she has to put her gun away, and Hilary Swank's character Athena meets her inside the house, and she's like cooking a grilled cheese sandwich or whatever. And,
we were just talking about that,
right?
With Gruyere, Jim. With Gruyere.
Right.
Nah, man, it was Kraft singles.
So Athena has her big monologue about how bad conservatives are, and how the way they talked about her and made up shit, and didn't follow the facts, and didn't look and didn't care about who they hurt, And that was the whole message right there from her is you guys, you just took something and you didn't care and you just went with it.
Yep.
And she blames them.
Yep.
And this is where that twist is probably the better than a lot of twists I've seen in a long time, is where Crystal goes, you've got the wrong person. That wasn't me.
Dude, I'm high-fiving you, Chris, for pointing that out.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
She's like, yeah, that's Crystal with an E. I get her mail sometimes.
And at first, I thought she was joking. I thought she was trying to like flip the situation and catch Hillary Swank, unguarded. But then you start realizing, no, she actually is serious about this.
Right, because
Yo,
Hillary.
So not to bring it. So sorry for bringing it back to the real world, but I have seen this multiple times with Trump's Twitter account where he'll tag the wrong person and call them out. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but he'll tag somebody to go, "How dare you?" Blah blah blah, and then this person will have to comment under, "Dude, you got the wrong guy."
That's my point. I said in the beginning. I said that it felt like watching someone copy and paste tweets and social media content as script writing, and then put us in this movie for us to actually see visualized.
Right.
Well, and it's the genius of this twist is that her whole thing was how much she hated the way she ruined her. She did this to her. She was basically using her as a single person for everything that she saw as a problem.
Yeah, that was her snowball.
And then realized and was just told that she had the wrong person this whole time. And she stops and she just refuses to believe it. She won't reassess everything she did because that would have made her the monster, right?
Yeah.
And it was so funny, that whole scene, just before even the fight scene.
But the thing is, she knows that she can't let her go now.
Right.
So,
but still, because at the end of the fight, she asks, "Are you really the wrong Crystal?" or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to believe at this point her character prides herself on her intelligence and her being superior to everyone else in the room because she knows what she knows and she's the best at it. Quote unquote liberal elite.
Very arrogant.
Yes.
Arrogant,
yeah.
Yes.
Well, she went down like her entire life. She's like, this is who your parents were. This is what your childhood was. And I'm sitting there thinking, but wait, she went to Afghanistan. At what point are you going to get to that part? And she never does.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, she's got the wrong person.
Crystal. I didn't realize it even then until she said so. I was like, wait a minute. There's more to this girl's backstory? Like, when did she have time to go to the military?
Right,
I still
exactly.
couldn't put it together.
So that was a great twist, but they still gave us a fantastic one-on-one fight through the house.
Yes.
With the
the only part I had a problem with was when she stopped to say "no more glass." I was like, really?
I was okay with that. I was okay. I mean, remember,
Yeah.
I just praise Hobbs and Shaw. Hold on. I just praise Hobbs and Shaw's action. I'm not gonna freaking poo-poo on that. Come on, dude.
Right. Actually,
I don't find it believable that two people trying to kill each other are gonna stop to avoid the glass.
Dude, did you not watch Hobbs and Shaw? You're gonna tell me any of that stuff was believable?
Well, also, she kicked her over the open fireplace.
Yeah.
So people fly a little far in movies, so I give them some leeway. So for me, so watching this whole fight, the most painful thing for me is when they were fighting over the shotgun, and she grabbed part of her arm skin in the shotgun, and I was like, "Oh, ow, ow!"
That was
ow.
good. That was good. Funny bone and all, man. I felt that just watching that scene.
Yeah, so they were tossed downstairs, and then she stabs her, and then she grabs her and charges her and stabs her with the knife that was in her gut or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was like a chopper blade, the hand
from a food
vegetable.
processor. Yeah.
Yeah, and she just hugs her, and then yeah.
We've seen that in many action movies, especially kung fu karate flicks.
Yeah, it was a good, like I said, it was a good fight, not just because it was good action. It felt very personal and brutal, which is what that fight should have been. And then What did you guys think of the very end? So she uses the brulee
Yeah,
burner,
she heals herself a la Rambo 3
Yeah.
style.
right? And then she
Cauterizes
Cauterizes the
throws
wound. Yep.
Yeah.
throws on a fancy dress, grabs the dog, and walks to the airplane. Did that seem weird to
It
you?
seemed weird and out of place
Weird
because
but good.
because
Good.
even
I
even
thought it was good.
when she got on the plane and then the stewardess was like surprised to see her and she's like,
Not
you know,
stewardess,
give
flight attendant.
excuse me, flight attendants. I'm sorry. I'm so
Okay, liberal
dra-
elite.
so draconian. I was gonna say draconian, but yeah, liberal elite. Um, and then she gets the Ace of Spades champagne, whatever it is, and she asks for the caviar, and the steward and the flight attendant's still looking at her confused. She's like, "You should
Peanut
try
lady.
some. You should try some." She goes, "Well, I don't think I'm allowed to." Yeah, you're allowed to. Yeah, try it. And she sees her guzzling the champagne. She goes, "How does that taste like?" She goes, magnificent. And then roll credits. That part, yeah, you're right. That was not the way I would have ended it. I can't defend
No.
that.
Right, because that changes the mess.
It
It doesn't.
does.
It's like she took over the liberal elite
Yeah, you
position.
became the enemy at the end, which is not what I thought you were trying to say. But
But does that make her the jackrabbit who kills the turtle with the hammer and takes over?
no, because remember the Jackrabbit was always on top, so you have to imagine that she was always on top, which you can't.
Hmm. Okay.
It's more like she flipped the story around. She became the Jackrabbit. That's what you can say. She became the Jackrabbit from being.
Yeah,
a
and I was
turtle.
all for her taking the plane and going home. That was fine. I would like.
Yeah,
Well,
she
what
was
would
still in
be
her
our
old
resolution
dungarees.
otherwise?
She was still in her old dungarees with the ripped up
Hmm
Yeah.
T-shirt, and she was limping
Right.
into the plane. That would have been more more believable.
Yeah. I think you're right about the dress and the champagne and all that. I think, yeah, she should have just been
Yeah, because
healed
then
herself and then got on the plane and said, "Take me the f home."
right, because then she's still herself, but she's
Right.
taken over as
Exactly.
opposed to.
She should be like,
Yeah. What was the
take
what
me
was
to
the point
Sag
of the
Harbor
dress?
or Martha's Vineyard. I'm like, oh shit, liberal elite.
Yeah, I think the point of the dress is I think she flips it over. I
She
think
does. She becomes a Jackrabbit.
And now she's.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, well. So we actually talked a lot about the movie.
Look at that. I hope I changed you guys, first impression of that movie because you're able to.
I think
I feel like I've seen the movie.
Oh shit.
Like,
Oh
dude, like,
shit.
that was way farther past.
Sorry,
the
did we give you a
spoiler,
2-hour
like,
synopsis of a 90-minute
1.5
movie?
hour.
We were the director's cut. You know when you watch
movie.
the director's cut of a movie and then like the whole commentary,
Yeah.
you can watch the movie now and play our podcast next to it.
Over the top.
There you go.
All right. So, actually, a quick recommendation: if you want a movie like this without the politics, watch Ready or Not.
Mm.
So-
Yeah, Ready or Not is good. Watch The Hunger Games, for crying out loud.
No, thank
At
you.
least
Well-
you understand it's a dystopian society and why they're doing what they do. But
Yeah, but that's
Uh,
still political because we're the capital, by the way.
yeah, yeah.
I did hear
Yeah.
Ready or Not is good though. I haven't been meaning to watch that.
That was pretty
Yeah,
good. I like that one.
It was good. It was good. It's only $2.99 on Amazon Prime Video. We actually want. I I turned it on for my son and his girlfriend.
There you go.
So going back to
So-
Keith, you should still watch the movie. Form your own opinions.
That's right.
After, like that, like I'm totally like I was totally geeked about it at the beginning, and I'm listening, I'm like, I guess that was the movie.
Yeah, that's
Waste of time.
it's all of us being in isolation, Keith. It made us. No, we talk this much anyway. What am I saying?
See, I was about to say, like, yeah, like 2 hours is definitely par for the course.
No, but I still want your opinion though. You could be the fourth person. You watch it, knowing everything we talked about, and then you can come back and give us a.
Oh no, it's been properly spoiled. I'm probably not gonna watch it, bro. I'm letting you know that.
Nah, dude, you gotta give it a
That
watch.
is basic. No, because like now I'm going into it knowing already, like even scenes, like it's just No, it's too much. Like it just fell in priority. Like
All right.
I'm gonna watch it, but
You
like it's
watch it
not
with the
gonna.
lady, see her reaction for the first time, and then you remember our conversation on this pod, and then come back and it's like,
What?
what were you guys smoking? I didn't see any of the stuff you guys are talking about.
No, it's not gonna be organic, and that's like I don't care about watching with someone else. Like what you eat don't make me shit. Like I will watch, like watch for somebody else's reaction. Like that's ridiculous.
Well, okay then. So Keith isn't gonna watch it. Why doesn't the audience watch it and they'll let us know on our Twitter account?
Oh, that would be dope.
Yeah,
would be
that'd
dope.
be dope. Please.
That would be dope.
All right, but I think that's it for us for the night.
Oh, bonsoir.
All right.
And everybody keep your facts straight. Don't spread lies.
And make sure if you're tweeting at somebody, make sure it's the right person for crying
That's
out loud.
right. Make sure it's the right
Because
person.
you never know who that
And-
person really is.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That's the moral of the story for me.
Yeah.
Tweet
I
the
was-
right people.
Hey, I was surprised how many liberals knew how to use guns in this movie. All right, guys, have a good.
On that
All
note,
right.
For God's sakes, wash your hands.
Yeah, be
wash your
safe
hands.
out there, everyone.
Social distancing.
yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Please.
All right. Do 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 do.